Neno hili si hivyo. Mambo ni matatu.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome back to our channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that the video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine, as you can see. Kisumu is fantastic, and maybe you could also let me know where you are watching the video from. The county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, what is James Orengo's game plan for 2027? Because for me, I've been studying James Orengo, and I can easily conclude that James Orengo is preparing to run for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya in 2027. James Orengo is no longer interested in Siaya, and the signs are already there. In December, James Orengo dropped some hints.
Let's switch gears to Siaya, and this may be an obvious question, but will you be seeking a second term as the county boss, and will it be on an ODM ticket?
Well, my party is ODM. I intend to remain a member of the ODM. I think the question of running for office as governor for Siaya is a natural desire and consequence after serving the first term. But I must say that whatever decisions that I make will be determined by what is happening in the national politics, because I think that there are issues out there that needs attention, that we must come up to talk about and push through, so that the many battles that we have been engaged in making Kenya a democratic nation that respects human rights is maintained and protected and defended.
And anybody who has been keenly following James Orengo will easily conclude that James Orengo is clearly a man on a mission. If you listened to his statement in Mombasa, Orengo is a man on a mission.
Ruto needs ODM. It's not ODM that needs Ruto. Sijui mnanisikia? There are people in the party. They are behaving as if ODM is the one that needs Ruto. Is Ruto that needs ODM? Kwa sababu ameshindwa. I'm not afraid to say. I'm not afraid to say. I have nothing to fear but fear.
And Orengo dropped the final hint during their rally in Busia last week. For those who followed that event, James Orengo was the senior most political leader in that group. As a matter of fact, he now assumes the role of the leader of that particular group, which means James Orengo is likely to be the presidential candidate on that particular side, because that side has insisted that ODM must produce a presidential candidate. I want you guys to pay very close attention to this speech by James Orengo on that particular day, because in this video, I want to reveal to you guys why James Orengo is running away from Siaya gubernatorial seat to presidential bid.
Busia oye! Busia oye! Paka kule mwisho Busia oye! Tulipokuwa njiani, kuna watu walisema ya kwamba hatuwezi kuingia Busia. Tumeingia Busia ama hatujaingia Busia? Na tunasema kwamba hakuna mtu anaweza kuvunja chama cha ODM. Wangapi Busia wanasema hatuvunji chama cha ODM? Na tunasema pia chama cha ODM, chama cha Baba Raila Amolo Odinga, hakuna mtu atauza chama cha ODM. hakuna mtu atauza chama cha ODM, na hakuna mtu anaweza kuthubutu kumeza chama cha ODM. Na tunasema ya kwamba chochote ambayo chama cha ODM itafanya itatoka hapa kwa wananchi. Jambo langu na mwisho, ODM ndio inaweza kutengeza serikali. ODM ndio inaweza kutengeza serikali. Hakuna mtu atatulazimisha kuingia serikali ambayo hatukubaliane nayo. ODM ndio lazima itengeze serikali, na ODM lazima iwe na presidential candidate. Wangapi wamekubali tuwe na president?
Ladies and gentlemen, in this video, I want to reveal to you guys why Orengo is planning now to run for the presidency instead of the governor. Before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, the first reason why James Orengo is planning to run for the presidency is because he's trying to force himself into the negotiating table. For those who have been following James Orengo very closely and the developments within ODM party, James Orengo was locked out during Raila Odinga's negotiations with William Ruto. That can explain why James Orengo has been very bitter. The truth of the matter is that since Raila Odinga started working with James Orengo has always been on the negotiating table.
Right now in Kenya, the last free and fair election that we had was in 2002. 2002. If we are not careful, even this election that is coming is not going to be free and fair.
From NAC, from handshake, Orengo has been at the center. Even during the time of Okoa Kenya, Orengo was one of the co-chair of Okoa Kenya. So the truth is, when Raila Odinga entered into broad-based government, Orengo was kept in the dark. And personally, I was not surprised, because the fact that Raila Odinga allowed Orengo to go to Siaya meant he didn't want him at the national level. And the moment Orengo became the governor for Siaya, he was then confined to Siaya. But Orengo is bigger than Siaya. That's why he could not stay in Siaya. So right now, what he's trying to do, Orengo is running for the presidency to be called to the negotiating table. I'm looking at a possibility of, if Orengo will now not be the presidential candidate, he's going to run for the presidency, but then negotiate. And that negotiation can actually lead Orengo to become Stephen Kalonzo's running mate. And that's why he's been very supportive of Kalonzo. Even when Kalonzo went to Bondo the other day, he was with James Orengo, and you all heard how James Orengo described Kalonzo Musyoka. So he wants to be on the negotiating table. He's going to run for the presidency, then he's going to be on the negotiating table, because I know for sure, and you also know, that no single political party can make it alone. So Orengo, even if he's running, his intention is to be on the negotiating table, then finally maybe he can become the running mate to Kalonzo.
I've been in many meetings where people were discussing about who is going to be the candidate. And three times, Kalonzo has said, nakuachia wewe ndugu yangu Raila. In 2013, in 2017, and in 2022, where he said, I don't even need a position. If there's a principled man in Kenya, like Raila Amolo Odinga, is Kalonzo Musyoka.
Number two, James Orengo wants to run for the presidency as part of his strategy to place himself right at the center of the ODM succession politics. Who is the ODM party leader? Oburu Odinga. Is James Orengo recognizing Oburu Odinga? Because we all know that Oburu Odinga is the senator for Siaya. Orengo is the governor for Siaya. And the first person who would have expected to support Oburu Odinga's elevation would have been Orengo. Since Oburu was appointed as the party leader, James Orengo has never bothered to even have a meeting with him. Then from nowhere, we started seeing Orengo moving, opposing, and things like those. So which means as we speak, James Orengo is keen on that particular seat. And that's why he's calling for, and that's why he's running for the presidency. The fact that he's running for the presidency, most ODM supporters believe that ODM party is a very strong party and cannot just walk into an agreement with Ruto without conditions. And one of the conditions is let them run for the presidency, then Ruto run for the presidency, then they can negotiate. Orengo will then be called on the table, and probably he can assume he can kick Oburu out as the party leader. Number 3, and this is something I've been telling people, James Orengo has become very unpopular in Siaya. Forget about even Raila Odinga's death. Even before Raila Odinga passed on, James Orengo had become very unpopular. In fact, if you talk to those people of Siaya, they will tell you that in Siaya, it's like 2 guys who are handlers of Orengo are the ones calling the shot. And most people are not even comfortable with them. So Orengo is looking for a safe exit strategy from Siaya. So he would rather run for the presidency and lose rather than run again for Siaya and lose. And lastly, Orengo is also running for the presidency as part of his strategy to return to the national politics. Orengo is not meant for Siaya politics. I mean, by all accounts, Orengo is mtu wa Siaya. That's why even the MCs cannot work with him. He's not mtu wa Siaya. Orengo is a national leader who thrives in national politics. A people united can never be defeated, can only work, can only play his politics at the national level. So if you confine Orengo to be meeting people in the villages every single day, I mean, that's not Orengo. Ladies and gentlemen, he's looking for a return to the national politics through the presidential bid. I don't know what you think. Do you think James Orengo can win the presidency? Or do you think James Orengo can make a good running mate to Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka? Let me hear your thoughts again on this video. Bye-bye.